My name is Haiyang Dong. I'm the team lead of level design team in the Jade team.
So your studio is showing Delta Force Hawk Ops. So what would you say to a person who looks at your game and says, "Oh, it's just Call of Duty"? Like, how do you separate yourselves from games like Battlefield and Call of Duty?
So one thing really makes Delta Force Hawk Ops unique is our very tactical approach towards the game, that we see ourselves as a tactical shooter, and this applies to all three modes of the game. Obviously, we can't talk too much about the game's campaign mode today, but we can definitely talk about the multiplayer parts. For the first mode, Havoc Warfare, which is a ground war experience, you need to be aware of your team's goals and what's happening on the battlefield, and what you need to do to not only to land more shots for yourself, but to help your team achieve the goal, because this is how the games are settled. And that's really important. And for the other mode, hazard operation, you need to think strategically before, during, and after the game. Before the game, you need to decide what you need to bring into the game to power you through the entire game. And once you are in the game, because you have different spawn location for every time, and you have different configuration events on the map, you need to plan your moves accordingly, and you need to adjust your plan on the go. And even after the game, you need to think strategically on how to deal with your loot. You need to allocate your loot and make sure that you are growing your black set, which is a place where you can develop and improve facilities to translate into in-game advantages. So you need to really think strategically before, during, and after the game, and that's how we see ourselves different from other titles.
So we played a game mode similar to Conquest or King of the Hill today, but there seem to be a lot of players on the map. How many players are there on that mode at any given time on both teams?
In the PC version, there are 64 players in the game, and in our other extraction shooter mode, there are near 17 or 20 in the one map. In the different maps, the players' number is different.
So what are some of the challenges when making a first-person shooter in 2024 and making it feel different from like Battlefield?
So obviously it is a very competitive market. There are a lot of great titles, and there are a lot of great choices for the players. And we as shooter gamers ourselves, we know that it is really important that the game delivers quality in the first place to be viable for the players. So the game should look good, it should run well, and it should play fun. And they are crucial. And at the same time, like we talked earlier, Delta Force Hawk Ops is about being tactical, and we think this is one of the game's key identity to convey to our gamers when they are playing the game. And at the same time, we do feel that it's really important that as developers, you need to play your own game to really know what players actually want and need. So we are trying to put our boot on the ground and to really work on optimization, on connection, on anti-cheating, which means we are not only making good-looking trailers, that's easy to achieve, but what's more important is we are trying to make the game actually looks good on players' actual screens. And we are also making sure that the server connection is stable and reliable. We want players to have the sense of security that when they fire a shot, they want to say the bullet will land, the damage will register, which sadly does not often happen, especially with a lot of titles going on right now. And lastly, we know how cheaters can really spoil the fun, and we are really working very hard to make sure that we will build a community that's very aware and very responsible, and we will be fighting cheaters teeth and claw.
Now, you guys have a lot of weapons and gadgets in your games. Is this like a semi-futuristic type of game or more modern? Because I did see drones, I saw like other weird kind of futuristic gadgets. Like, talk about the gadgets and weapons in your game and the tone you're going for. Super realistic, semi in the future?
Delta Force Hawk Ops takes place in the year of 2035 in, let's say, a parallel universe. but we are trying to make sure that the game feels relatable and believable. And this is not really a sci-fi vibe we are going for. We are also working with a veteran consultant from military to make sure that the weapons and gadgets they feel real. And this is not only the looks, but also how they are maneuvered in the game. Yeah.
So, as a level designer, what are some of the challenges when making these environments interesting and tactile? I mean, you have to have your choke points, you have to have your engagement points, you know.
Okay, you know level design very much, I think. Yeah, the biggest challenge of our level design is the design scale, because now we have near 5 large-scale maps, and one map is near to 1 kilometer to 1 kilometer. It's a really large-scale maps with maybe 13 or 14 POIs locations in the maps. So this is a really large project for the level designers to build the world and build the map. The most important thing is the interactive actors in the level. So you can see there are so many interactors in our levels for the loot box and the switch and the contract point, yeah, and AIs. So build them together with lots of interactor world is our first goals, and in our hardware warfares, we build a large scale destruction ball map that's nearly almost. There are so many props and buildings we can destroy it to make our battle like the large scale and players feeling good.
What games did you play in your childhood that inspired you to get into game development?
I think there are so many games inspired as the Dirt Force series, and the Half-Life series, and the Battlefield series, and also the Quake series, yeah, and also the Far Cry. Far Cry is also inspired us, yeah, and also the like the Call of Duty, yeah, it's the good quality FPS game.
What about you personally, though? Like, what games did you play when you were a child that that really made you want to get into game development?
Borderland 2. Borderland.
Boulderland?
Yeah, Borderland is my favorite FPS game.
Okay,
Yeah,
interesting. Yeah.
and if it has another choice, I will make choice to Counter Strike.
Yes.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes, Counter Strike.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
Awesome.
that's lead my work, I think.
Awesome. Let me see your name tag. No, your name tag. Let me get your name tag. Yeah. Go fast. All right. HENRYHY Hyundong DONG Team Jade level designer. Just so I have it. I'm gonna try to spell his name right when I give him.